This video will contain spoilers for the final season of Stranger Things, so be warned. I want to address my main points of critiques for the last season, just as initial thoughts that I refined. I want to specifically talk about Derek, the lack of consequences, and the kind of lazy ending they gave it. Okay, so, first it's Derek. I like his character. I think what they did with his character and his redemption arc was fun to watch. My biggest complaint is how much of a juggernaut they made his character. He is undoubtedly the strongest character in the series. To tally up his feats and notches, he goes down to being drugged by Lucas's sister. So Derek 0, the world 1. He is the last to go to sleep, but is the first to wake up after the eating the most pie. So at this point, we get to know how much of a beast he is going to be this season. I'm giving him 1 point because of this. So Derek 1, the world 1. Immediately after waking up from being drugged, he is able to take off his blindfold while being tied up, so that's 2 points for Derek, 1 point for the world. After Joyce feeds him, Derek immediately outpowers and outsmarts Robin, Will, and Joyce. And mind you, he just woke up from being drugged again, so he's not at his full power, which we will see is crazy. So that is, what was that? Oh yeah, 3 to Derek, the world 1. Fortunately for Team Stranger Things, they convince Derek to be on their side, and he is able to lock in and sneak into the military base. Any kid would have been able to do that given the circumstances, since they were just holding kids captive. So I'm not gonna give any points there. From within the base, Derek is able to hypnotize the vessels in front of everyone, so Derek has 4 points and the world has 1. I don't know if they explain how Derek knows how to hypnotize people there, but he does it anyway, so who cares? So as Will and Mike struggle to stop the bathroom from flooding, Derek helps solve for time by keeping the door shut. There were at least 2 military guards trying to open the door, and Derek is fighting back. Not only that, Derek is standing on the wet floor, and the military guards are not. Why is he so strong? Why is he able to hold the door? The floor is slippery. How is he able to maintain footing with the door and 2 military guards are pushing against him? So that's Derek has 5 points now, and the world has 1. The series had to nerf Derek by capturing him and putting him to sleep. Unfortunately for Vecna, the most dangerous place for Derek to be is inside Vecna's mind, but regardless, he was caught, he was defeated, so the world has 2 points, Derek has 5. Derek is sent on a mission to act as a distraction, but it does not end well for him. I can't remember how well that benefits the main cast in terms of distraction the portion of the plot, so I'm awarding no points. Derek has 2 moments of being overweight that slows the kids down from escaping Vecna that gets the world 2 points. Derek 5, the world 4. And lastly, the most BS part of the entire series is a desperate power struggle between the strongest in history versus the fattest of today. Who will win, Vecna or Derek? Obviously, it's Derek because he's just that guy. Derek 6, the world 4. Screw the final battle of 11 versus Henry, that was boring to watch. They threw each other like ragdolls, and only at the end did 11 use one of the 10 spikes in the room to her advantage. I would have lost if it weren't for Will, by the way. I think a hilariously more interesting fight would have been Elle teaming up with Derek and using his body as a cannonball against Vecna, if not the Mind Flayer. I think that wrapped up my Derek rant. For the consequences part, why do the heroes get happy endings? Maybe I accept the kids getting off for free because they are minors, but why does everyone else is free to go? Robin and Joyce kidnap a family and kidnap multiple kids under military supervision. Nancy, Steve, and Jonathan break into a house and desecrate it. Pippa kidnaps a high-ranking military officer and is responsible for the death of multiple units in the military and was harboring a military target for years, and he gets to be chief of police. How does Joyce have custody over Will when she activated and endangered him? They were all in possession of the military. I see no way they pardoned any of them for saving the world because A, would the military believe they were in danger, as in, would the military believe that the kids have any reason to believe, would the military believe that the kids are right in saying that a second world would collide on theirs when they don't know that, they don't know Dr. Byers' original experiment, and they don't know Vecna's plan of trying to collide the two worlds together. B, would they cared after they were responsible for killing people. Again, Hopper killed multiple people, multiple military people, and you get to live scot-free for that? And see, they know very little about Vecna, nor do they really care about him. Again, Vecna was not their main concern, it was Rizzo capturing Elle and getting her blood to make more babies. As for the military woman, where did she go? Did she give up the entire operation after seeing Elle disappear? Is she not facing any consequences at the end of the day? It does not add up, and I wanted there to be something to address that. That is a big plot hole, but at least that can be explained as, oh yeah, they were just pardoned for it. Another thing about consequences is that none of the main cast died. Not that surviving is entirely bad, but just as a logistics thing, I guess. Walking across an entirely different planet, finding two of the three strongest beings in the universe, one being Derek, and living to tell the tale? I mean, sure that could happen, but death is narratives. It does so much for character growth, and all we get to see is a happy ending. And like, it's kind of like a little lackluster. And now for the ending. Schrodinger's 11. Is she dead or alive? I personally believe she's alive. It makes sense that she was unable to use her power to sneak out of the truck with the alarm going off, and her sister being a Genjutsu mastermind also allows for that theory to make sense. I'm not a big fan of the story playing it safe and making the entire ending open-ended. Not to say that it's a bad ending, but it's also not a good one. It's different, and personally, I would have preferred if the writers made a decision and committed to it. Writing is another thing I can speak about. The internet made a whole fuss about Marvels and the lack of milkshakes, but I personally did not care about that. I overlooked it, and I think it made me enjoy the ending more. I can go into more detail on why I love having zero expectations toward medias, but that's not something I'll say today. My overall thoughts on this show are pretty complicated. I felt like every season that came out came at a different point of my life. The things I liked changed by the time a new season came out, and so it's hard for me to come up with a solid rating. The things I liked when I was much younger, when the first few seasons were out, compared to watching them as they came out, and just experienced so much personal stuff, and it just came to me as a way of I just viewed each part of the narrative differently from a different lens than each show. I have to rewatch the entire thing to really understand. But again, it's too long for me to consider rewatching. But it's maybe a show I'd recommend to someone if they never heard about it. But I'm more likely to recommend watching an anime or 5 seasons of Stranger Things. So that's about it. That's my rant. There's obviously way more I can talk about in detail, but I'm deciding not to. So yeah, see ya.